The iPhone 14s are right around the corner and it's exciting. But sadly, we've got to say goodbye to what has been my favorite model out of the bunch. Both the 12 mini and 13 mini were phones that I really loved. There's tons of reasons to love this compact smartphone, but then there's also a bunch of reasons as to why I believe they've failed. So that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Why the 12 and 13 mini have failed. Right off the bat, the first problem is in the name itself. 12 mini, 13 mini. By putting mini in the name, you're implying that there's going to be some kind of compromise. It's what we're used to. It's not our fault. That's the way our psychology is set up. See, when you go to start a diet, instead of going for the regular bagel, what do? Alternate it with the mini bagel. Instead of going for those regular size soda cans, go for the slim ones, right? It's supposed to just satisfy that craving. But at the same time, you don't feel guilty because you got the smaller one. And when you take the mini and stack this up with the 13 and the 13 Pro and Pro Max, now suddenly you're looking at 4 phones in front of you and this one looks the most inferior. Combine that with the pricing structure, for $100 more you can bump up to the regular 13, which has the same camera, all that good stuff, but has a bigger battery, has a bigger screen. It's such an easy sell. So now all of a sudden you walked into the Apple store for the 13 mini and you walked out with maybe a regular 13. The pricing isn't done by accident either. Businesses price things in a way to make you go the next level up. For example, I sell a Magsafe car mount. Now let's say I have the standard one and that one is $20, right? Now let's say I do the Pro Magsafe car mount. And the Pro one, I advertise it with photos of people off-roading and the mount in their Jeeps and trucks. Now I'm actually visually taking you in a trip and making you believe that the Pro is the one that you need, even though you might never be going off-roading. But when you look at that pricing structure and you're like, hey, $20, like for $10 more, I could just get the Pro one. Because you might get the regular one and still feel like that you didn't get the best of the best. That's what happens. That is the reality of the situation. We don't even know it. We don't even think about it, but that's what's happening. And it's not wrong by any means, right? Every business needs to make the most money out of every customer. And so things are structured in a way so that they can do so. And the mini is no exception. It sits at the bottom in between 4 different models, and by just going $100 up, you can skip it altogether. So both the name combined with the pricing structure of the 12 and 13 mini just crush it all together. And you don't even get to experience what is otherwise a great compact smartphone. Another problem is that most people don't even know. I can't tell you how many times that I've been at a Starbucks or something and I've been standing in, let's say I'm looking at my phone, somebody comes up and they're like, hey, what phone is that? They don't even know. And then I very happily get to tell them about the 13 mini and how great it is. But you know what happens is that they look at it for a second and they realize how tiny it is. And you know, if you're used to a standard larger phone and you look at this, your eyes are not even going to accept it, right? You need a few days to get used to this kind of size of a screen and all that. And you know, right away, one of the first things that people say is that, yeah, it's very comfortable to hold. Like, you know, they'll even put it in their pocket and they love it, but I doubt that they're actually going to buy it. You see, whenever new iPhones come out, you get hit with that email that says that the 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max are now available. There's probably not even going to be a mention of the standard models, simply because the Pro and Pro Max is what Apple wants you to know all about. That's the model that they want to sell. That's the model that they have goals to hit certain amounts of numbers. And that's exactly why the 12 and 13 mini just get overshadowed. Nobody really knows about them. That's why I think that they should have done a standalone release, just like they did with the latest iPhone SE. I mean, having a standalone release gives the phone an opportunity to shine, makes reviewers actually want to review it. By releasing this right next to the Pro and the Standard and the Pro Max models, it's just a no-brainer, right? $100 more and, well, you don't really need the Mini. It's too tiny. And that's that. And majority of the people are just going to buy the rest of the available models. That's why this should have been given a standalone release instead of having a successor to the iPhone SE, which I really loved. I actually really liked the original SE, and then I also recently had the 2020 model, and that was awesome. You see, one of the reasons that I did standalone videos for the 12 mini and the 13 mini was because I wanted people to know. I wanted people to know about the model that otherwise just gets overshadowed. Most people don't actually take the time to review the mini models. So I did the reverse of that. I skipped the Pro model and I ended up reviewing the 13 mini simply because I love this phone and it's so awesome that more people deserve to know what a great experience it is to have a compact smartphone which has majority of the flagship features. You see, the more I thought about why this model is getting discontinued, because honestly it made me sad. I would love to see a 14 mini or a 15 mini, and I'm sure I'll continue to praise it, because what I loved most was that I didn't have to make a compromise. I think the only compromise I have to make is battery life. But see, prior to the 12 mini, I had the iPhone SE 2020 model. And in that model, I had an LCD screen, only a single camera, not good battery life whatsoever. But I was okay with that. But since the 12 mini came, then the 13 mini came, it just changed that. And what I loved most was that for the first time, I actually felt like that I didn't have to sacrifice tons and tons of features to have a phone that is more comfortable to hold. Over the years, it's been one of the things that I've done. Whether it's been Android phones or iPhones, I've always wanted to try out the compact models because phones just kept getting larger and I really did not like that. And with the 12 and 13 mini, especially the 13 mini, I just felt that, wow, I finally have a phone that only asks for one compromise: battery life. And I'd be lying to you if I said that I can make it through all of my days. I even said in my reviews, standard usage days, I can make it through the day, no problem. But heavier usage days, I have to rely on a battery pack. That's the only way. But, that is something you just have to compromise. If you go get a two-door convertible car, you have to compromise the fact that you can't seat all your friends. You don't have all the storage space, right? There are compromises that you have to make with everything. And for me, the battery compromise is something I'm willing to deal with, because even with a battery pack, this is still comfortable to hold. And I love that. The day-to-day comfortability, if that's even a word, is something that I really, really love. And that is something that you need to check out for yourself. You can't go from a Pro or Pro Max phone and just look at this at the store and just write it off. You need to take this home and get used to it for a couple of days, and only then will you be able to make a judgment as to whether this is right for you. When you start a diet, right? Let's say you're like, I'm going to cut out all carbs, I'm going to cut out all the sugar. The first day is not your easiest day. Matter of fact, the first day you might actually feel good. You might be like, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm doing a good job. But then guess what? Things get harder and harder because your body's not used to you not giving it those carbs and sugar. Much is the same when you go from a Pro Max to a mini model. You come here and your eyes are just not accustomed to watching videos on a screen that's this small. You're not used to not having a battery that can power you through the whole day. But then as the days progress and you get used to it and you realize how light it is, that I used to have pain here all the time from the larger models, or from me simply using my pinky as a ledge for my smartphone, that was giving me pain here too. That's all gone because I let myself get used to it and I was so happy with that. So this, like I said in one of my reviews, this really is a fun size candy bar. But with those fun size candy bars, you really want to go for the regular size, right? It makes you want to crave for more. At least that's the case with me. But here, this is a fun size candy bar that is not going to leave you craving for more because you have all the good stuff here. You just need to make a compromise or two and you'll realize how awesome of a phone this is. I really love both the 12 and 13 mini. I'm sad to see them go, but they're going to still be a part of my daily carry. That's going to be the phone that I use, despite the fact that I'll be getting the newer ones because I need to talk about them and I need to review them and all that stuff, right? This is going to be my choice of iPhone. And I really, really think that if you go into a store, you get yourself this, give yourself a few days to test it out, to play with it, get used to it, and I'm very certain that this will be a fun-sized smartphone that won't leave you wanting more. Thank you so much for your time. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below with anything. Do you have a 12 mini or 13 mini? Are you looking to buy one? Whatever it is, comment down below and I'll be happy to reply. Thanks for your time, take care, and I will see you in the next video.